Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of KYC, Know Your Crypto. On today's live stream episode, I want to discuss the latest news and chart analysis for Bitcoin. Then we'll take a look at how crypto continues to be compared to the internet/dot-com boom, and how barely anyone realized the power and importance of the World Wide Web until many years after it launched and became a synonymous tool in our daily lives. And lastly, we'll look at an article with Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse commenting on Ripple, which is the company behind XRP, going public. As always, anything that is discussed on this channel is not financial advice. Please continue to do your own research. So let's get into it. First, I tweeted this the other day. Here's some context behind the tweets. As you may be aware, investing in something with the intent of getting rich, making a lot of money, is typically made in a company or an asset that is relatively small and not in the spotlight or in the mainstream. So, with that said, if you heard someone say, quote, invest in the next Bitcoin and Ethereum, the next Bitcoin is Litecoin, and the next Ethereum is Cardano, would you think this quote was said by a noob who is essentially someone brand new to crypto, or would you think that this is a quote from a very knowledgeable person saying it to a noob? So I tweeted this and 24 people voted and it was split directly down the middle, 50-50. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this. I'm curious to know what the KYC audience thinks of this question. First article from the Daily Hodl. Here's why central banks could add Bitcoin and crypto to their balance sheets, according to Cathie Wood. And before we take a look at some quotes from this article, Cathie Wood, you may have seen her in other videos before, primarily in interviews. She is the CEO of ARK Invest, and some context behind Cathie Wood and ARK Invest. Apparently this company and Cathie Wood, they had called Tesla being an extreme success long before Tesla was very known and big and prominent in the world. So clearly they've got a reputation for making calls early on companies or assets. With that context in mind, with commodity prices sinking as businesses try to get rid of excess supply, Cathie Wood predicts that emerging markets will take a massive hit. She adds that the effects of deflation will cascade into the fiat currencies of emerging markets, which will drive their central banks to seek refuge in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. She says, quote, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these emerging market central banks start accumulating Bitcoin and other currencies. If they know their currency is going down and would be under attack as reserves go down, maybe they have a balance sheet with Bitcoin and other crypto assets. So interesting comments from Cathie Wood. Next article, also from the Daily Hodl. This is an article quoting famous and notorious Bitcoin maximalist Max Keiser. So Keiser says massive money printing and fresh signs of inflation will force companies to increasingly buy BTC this year. Max sees corporations taking part in Bitcoin buying spree that fuels a 500% price surge by the end of 2021. Max says My price target for 2021 is still a $220,000 Bitcoin. It's an aggressive price target, but it's based on the US dollar running into severe trouble. I have to agree with Max that inflation is going to come a lot faster than I think the world will realize, and they will seek refuge in assets like Bitcoin, gold, silver, other precious metals perhaps, but I think Bitcoin will lead the pack with respect to assets that are a great hedge against inflation. So I want to take a look at the Bitcoin charts just for a moment. I'm not a chart guy, by the way. You might know that if you're a regular KYC subscriber, you'll know that we don't look at very many charts on the channel, but it's always something to be aware of. So this is the Bitcoin daily chart. I've got the 200-day exponential moving average up, and typically Bitcoin stays above the 200-day EMA in bull runs. And as you can see here, Bitcoin, the day of that major crash when Bitcoin went from around 42,000 and wicked all the way down to 30,000, Bitcoin fell below the 200-day EMA, and since then it has not been able to rise above it. Some analysts believe that this is what typically spells the end of a bull run or beginning of a bear market. I guess it's the same thing depending on how you look at it. We need a reversal. I drew this trend line here. Just make it a bit bigger. All the way down essentially to 20K, which if we were to continue on this downward trend exactly as I've drawn it, we would hit 20,000 around the middle of June, which is only a couple of weeks away. So tomorrow is Memorial Day. Traditional markets in the US are closed, which sets up the weekly opening of traditional markets on Tuesday, which is the first day of June. And Bitcoin is usually bullish on the monthly open during a bull market, but that's usually the case. You never know what can happen. Guess we're gonna find out in a couple of days. Want to also take a look at a tweet from Lark Davis. I follow Lark Davis at the Crypto Lark on Twitter. I don't watch his videos on YouTube, but I find that his wisdom through his tweets are quite good. And he tweeted earlier today, or this evening rather, that Bitcoin's recent all-time high of around 64,800 is not the final all-time high price for Bitcoin. So I like this tweet a lot. It's very simple, and it's really for those long-term hodlers or individuals who've come into the space recently with the idea of holding Bitcoin long term that may have also lost money. Like maybe you came into crypto 1 month ago, 2 months ago, when Bitcoin was clearly above 45, 50,000, and you made a Bitcoin purchase, however many Bitcoin or fractions of a Bitcoin, and now you are at a loss. And this tweet, I think, puts it into perspective quite well, that I think if you're a true believer of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and assets, I think we know that 6-digit Bitcoin is not an if, it's just a when. And so with that mind frame, knowing that Bitcoin is definitely going to get back above 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, all the way up to 100,000 and beyond, I think it is fair to say that even if you're at a loss now, you're not truly at a loss because it is a paper loss, and your best bet is to just sit and hopefully you will be in profits sooner than you think. All right. Gonna go now to another article. This article is not about Bitcoin as much as just the entire crypto scene altogether. It's an article that's written by Charles Silver over at Cointelegraph. Is crypto approaching its Netscape moment? The world of cryptocurrency shares a similar template to the emergence of the World Wide Web back in the 90s. We take the internet for granted in 2021, but it took us decades to get to this point. Throughout the years, the barriers toward adoption tumbled away, and there were clear signs that this new technology would fundamentally change the way the world lives and works. There are clear signs that another technology will be transformational on a similar scale: cryptocurrency. The article goes on to say, crypto still remains the playground for early adopters and geeks. Many institutions and professional investors are interested in playing around with it, but the vast majority of major institutional finance has yet to engage with it in any serious way, and this is certainly true. The article writer, again, I'm gonna go back, it's Charles Silver, forgot his name there. He says, I believe 2021 will be the year when all of this changes. Article is very interesting. I did get a chance to read it a bit earlier. This is a common line that you hear from crypto influencers: history doesn't repeat, it only rhymes. This certainly is true for bull market and bear market behavior for Bitcoin around the halving and whatnot. So I encourage you to read this article in full if you're interested. Last article here before we end the live stream is, of course, on Ripple XRP. So Ripple, this is from the Daily Hodl. Ripple intends to go public following the SEC lawsuit, says Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. So Brad Garlinghouse says that the Ripple company wants to go public once its legal battle with the SEC is resolved. He quotes, I give Coinbase a huge amount of credit. They have been a leader across crypto here in the United States for years, and getting crypto out, I think, is good for crypto overall. He goes on to say, I think that the likelihood of Ripple going public is very high at some point. I think in the middle of an SEC lawsuit, we need to get that closed out, and the SEC approves an S1. It's easier to do after you have closure and clarity and that regulatory certainty we have been seeking for so long. As many people who may be following Ripple and XRP may know, Garlinghouse said in early 2020, it was back in January, in fact, of 2020, he did reveal a brief idea and plan for Ripple to go public. And then the whole SEC thing happens right at the end of last year when the SEC formally filed this complaint, which led to this lawsuit. And so now, as many of you are aware, Ripple is involved in this lawsuit with the SEC. News reports are citing that the lawsuit seems to be favoring, at this point, Ripple. We don't know ultimately how this lawsuit will end, but many people are speculating that it will end with a settlement of some sort and some regulatory clarity around not just Ripple as a security, but also many cryptos in general, which I think will be very good for the crypto scene. So that will do it for this live stream episode. I certainly appreciate if you got a chance to come onto the live stream just now, or if you're watching this in the future. If you like this content and want to see more, please do like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. I look forward to bringing you more pre-recorded content this upcoming week on some altcoin gems. Thanks, and I'll see ya in the next video.